Hi, welcome back. This is problem 6.1, or I'm sorry, section 6.1, problem number 3. And what it asks us to do is it asks us to analyze this linear function here, 3x plus 5y equals 30. And it's going to ask us to revolve it around like this from x equals 0 all the way over to x equals 10. So in other words, we're going to take all of the space between here and there and what's filled in by this function and rotate it 360 degrees, extruding it into a cone. So we're changing this into a cone. It tells us to rotate it about the x-axis. And so if we rotated it about it as a cone, you would notice that we'd want to integrate with respect to x to do the disk method. So the width of our strip here is dx and the height is y, as you can see here. It's whatever the function says y is for any given x point. Because if we're here at our x, then we're there at our y. So, but the width here, the infinitesimal width is dx. So if I were to take this little strip and rotate it 360 degrees, extruding it into a disk, and then I took that disk out of the cone to analyze it, I would find that this disk that I rotated has a width of dx and has some radius. Now the radius is centered about the x-axis, and as you can see here that the radius is going to be the same as the distance from the origin to the height of the line, and that happens to be y. The height there is y, so therefore radius equals y. So that'll help us. Now what we want to find is what's our infinitesimal volume for this disk, and we're going to call that dV. And then if we make sure that every trait about this disk can work for every single given x value from 0 to 10, then we'll end up with the true volume of this cone that we extruded. So the volume of this disk is going to be the surface area, which is pi r squared, times the width, right, extruding it, dx. So you'll notice that we now have a infinitesimal chunk of volume. Well, now we're going to write that a little differently because r is equal to y, right? The radius is equal to y, so dv equals pi y squared dx. But since we're doing single variable calculus, having two different variables in our integral is not going to work. So what we're going to have to do is solve for y in terms of x. Well, we're given the equation here, 3x plus 5y equals 30. So if we wanted to solve for y, we could subtract 3x over minus 3x equals 5y, and then we could divide both sides by 5 and prove that y equals 30 minus 3x over 5. So we can now do a substitution for this in place of y down here. So we have dv equals pi, and then this expression in terms of x that's equivalent to y, 30 minus 3x over 5 squared with respect to x. Now we can take the integral of both sides. The integral of 1 dv is just v. And then over here we could pull the pi out front. Now our question is, from what x values do we start to what x values do we end? Well, the cone only goes from here to there, and this is x equals 0 to x equals 10. So our lower bound is 0 and our upper bound is 10. And then we have 30 minus 3x over 5 squared with respect to x. So now that we have the idea of how to set up the integral, let's go ahead and solve it. Alright, so we could separate these up. 30 divided 5 is 6. So that would be 6 minus 3/5 x minus 3/5 x and we're now going to square that, because it's squared here, integrate it with respect to x from 0 to 10, multiply the whole thing by pi out here, and that's going to equal our total volume of the cone that we're interested in. So I can go ahead and, there's two ways to do this. One way is I can go ahead and FOIL this out, and that's probably the one I'm going to do. So I'm squaring this, and so I'm multiplying it by itself twice. Taking the integral from 0 to 10 times pi equals the total volume. So now I'm just going to go ahead and FOIL. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18. That's minus 18/5 x. This one's also going to be the same, minus 18/5 x. And then the last one's going to be plus 9/25 x squared. Let me go ahead and check my work. Minus 18/5 x, minus 18/5 x, 9/25 x squared. Cool. We're still integrating this from 0 to 10 with respect to x. We haven't done the integral quite yet. And then once again, we're multiplying it by pi to get our total volume. So now I can combine terms. Negative 18 minus 18 is minus 36/5 x plus 9/25 x squared, 36 minus this. And pretty soon here, the next step we'll be able to use the power rule in reverse to find our antiderivative. So the antiderivative of 36 is 36x. The antiderivative of 36/5 x is 36/5 x squared divide 2. Now 2 times 5 is 10. And then over here, 9/25 x squared would be 9/25 x cubed divide 3. Well, 3 divided into this will multiply 25 by 3, which gives us 75. So there's our antiderivative. Now we're going to evaluate it from 0 to 10, multiply it by pi to find our volume. So 10 times 36 is 360. 10 squared is 100. 100 times minus 36 divided by 10 is minus 360. And then this last one here, 10 cubed is 1,000 times 9 divided by 75 is equal to positive 120. So the 360 and the minus 360 cancel, and what we're left with is 120 times pi. So volume equals 120 pi for this specific problem. So anyways, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next video.